Hi everyone, I wanted to give you an update. I just left Hopkins. Of course, every time I leave Hopkins and I'm upset, it's raining. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously I can see myself that I've been crying. The good news is I'm in remission from leukemia, so amen, no leukemia. I'm like a miracle walking. The bad news is through this genetic markers that they just tested me on, is that they said that my sister gave me this genetic marker that she may not even be experiencing. She may only have just a little bit, but it's called CHIP. And it means that there's a subset of cells produced in my bone marrow that have a mutation that they have seen mutated that has caused an inflammatory response. Basically, now I have a cancer predisposition syndrome and severe inflammation in my body. And I know many of you are watching like, oh, here's a pill. No, I eat right. I exercise. My day every day is surviving. But what my leukemia doctor had said is this now a couple of things. One, it will impact my survival rate, which is why I was crying. He's very transparent. He talks about survival rates. And when I had 25% chance of survival when I had leukemia, he told me. Basically, this is a predisposition, but it has caused severe inflammation. And many of you have been on this journey with me. Many of you have been on this journey with me through the leukemia battle, and you know that there have been so many torments. Many people, either you don't live through the AML leukemia like I had, or if you do live, you have petty torments of neuropathy, bone pain. You could have a secondary cancer, you could have things, but for me, everything I had was magnified, and you guys went along with this journey with me. What we've learned today is there's a genetic marker that the subset that spun out of control for my sister in my body. And it's fascinating. This is new science. And they regret that they gave me my sister's bone marrow. So, of course, I left in tears. Now, the way my doctor phrased it is my sister bought me time and gave me the gift of time and really gave I'm going to cry, gave my son his mother back. The question is, how bad is this inflammation in my body? How many years off my life is this going to take? They know that between the full body radiation and this genetic marker that they now see the subset of cells spinning out of control. I have pages and pages of notes that I'm going to do another update tomorrow. They know it's going to impact my survival rate. So I had to pull over, collect myself before I walk in to see Gabriel. But the bottom line is I don't have leukemia, but I do have this mutation called CHIP. They don't think Lisa has it bad. She may just have the mutation, was a carrier, and when it blew out of control when it got into my body. But now that they're aware of what this mutation is, this thing called CHIP, if you have this mutation, you are not allowed to donate bone marrow. In fact, my sister was 46 or 44 when she donated. They will no longer take a bone marrow from somebody over the age of 40. But for me, as my doctor said today, is I would have succumbed to the disease and died if my sister was not approved for my marrow, because be the match registry, 70% of the donor patients are Caucasian, and I'm Cuban and Italian. When you're mixed race, there's not a lot of people in this registry. So he told me point blank, during my transplant in 2014, you will succumb to the disease and die if we don't approve your sister. That being said, he said, apart from that, if he would have had somebody else, if he knew 5 years ago what he knows today, he would have never given me my sister's marrow. And the reason is they don't know how this is going to affect my survival, but they know it will. They know that it played a huge role in me getting breast cancer. I have to have a surgery in 8 months. Now they don't know if they're going to approve it. There's so much I left is basically, I asked my doctor, I said, what do I do with this information? Now I have a genetic marker that causes inflammatory response. Everything, as you guys have seen, whether it's shingles, whether it's parasites, whether it was, I had 5 months recovery for a surgery that should have taken a month. Everything is because my body has an inflammatory response and shuts down and has trouble healing. And he said that itself is absolutely going to affect my survival rate and could take my life sooner than expected. Who knows? But it's not going to be from leukemia. What he fears is it's a cancer predisposition syndrome that is inflamed and my body can't handle it. So any little thing that comes my way is going to affect me. Now, what can I do? I'm doing it. Every day I wake up and I work out, and Caesar knows that's my job. My job is surviving. He knows I get up and I work out and I lift weights and I eat clean and I do my celery. And I know people are going to start messaging me like, oh, I have these pills and I do all of the anti-inflammatory, but you cannot fight what this genetic marker is in my body called CHIP that's spinning out of control. The cell split and mutated. And it's an inflammatory response. Some of the notes is he just said, most of people basically, I'm a miracle because what my doctor said in his words is, your sister gave you the gift of time. She bought you time. There is no treatment for this disease. There is no cure for this disease. I said, what do I do with this information going forward? Because with the breast cancer, they were waiting for him to say if I was going to take an estrogen blocker pill, and they didn't know because of the side effects would complicate my side effects from leukemia. It's been very complex. And he said, if I didn't have this, he would say, don't take the pill. You already have enough. But now I'm at so high risk of getting multiple cancers. Like he said, I'm not confident this is your last cancer. There could be many more, and one of them could take you. My doctor is very transparent, but having to sit in that room and hear that, and I had so many messages I had to pull over because I don't want to have to talk about this in front of Gabriel. And every time I have to drive home from that damn hospital by myself because you can't have guests, it's raining. Anyway, I know I'm rambling, but basically what my doctor said is I have all these additional risk factors. Anything I get, I'm compromised. Anything I get is going to be magnified. If you tell me I have a 1 week recovery, it could take me 10 weeks to recover. So I said, given that information, how do I live my life? How do I go forward? Because now I have to find a specialist who specializes in this mutation that's spinning out of control in my body and decide, are they going to put me on this letrozole and this pill to kill the estrogen, the rest of the estrogen in my body? And how it could complicate in the bone density and the osteoporosis it could cause, and decide how they're going to move forward. Are they going to give me this pill and risk all the complications that magnify itself, or risk another cancer, a third cancer, a fourth cancer? That they have to decide. Then the breast cancer surgery they want to do in September, October. Now he's like, well, we have to decide, do we want to risk it and you die from that? Or so it was a very transparent phone call. And of course my phone is full. I couldn't get it to record anything. I'm just taking notes like a maniac. But it reminds me, I've cried to a few of my friends, some of who are doctors. And, if you think of Steve Jobs and what he said on his deathbed, and I say this every time when I speak, is I have so many friends who are so kind and want to help, but what they said is, you can't pay somebody to carry the disease. I have to carry this. I have to own it. I have to manage it. And all I know right now is I have this inflammatory disease that, coupled with my history of bone marrow transplant, is going to affect my lifespan. How? We don't know. I asked my doctor, how should I go forward and live my life? What do you want me to do? And he said, I just want you to live each day, make memories, and live cautiously. Don't do anything risky. Don't have, he doesn't want me to have another surgery. Don't hang on. Just don't do anything risky. And this, of course, this magnifies my PTSD of like, is there a tree that's going to fall? Everything is spinning out of control in my head, hearing him say, just live by each day. I'm going to meet with him in 3 weeks. He's trying to find a CHIP specialist who understands bone marrow transplants. The only way for me to get rid of this marker that they're expecting to cause another cancer for me is if they put me through another bone marrow transplant. But many people don't live through the second bone marrow transplant. So you couple all of that together, and it was a lot of shit to digest in a meeting. So much that we spent an hour and 20 minutes. I took notes like a maniac, and I have to go back in 3 weeks so he can find some experts so we can figure out what to do about my breast cancer, the surgery, the pills, the whatever. And he said, and what I say to all of you, and I know, until you walk in my shoes, you walk into another person's shoes with cancer, you might be like, prepare, present, prevail. But in so many ways that I wake up every day and surviving is my job, that if you can go out and prepare, they said absolutely that my body, the fact that I'm exercising, doing whatever I can to decrease the inflammation, has kept me alive. That's what keeps me alive every day. I will not miss my workout. It is a job, my job. They ask me when I go to the doctor or any paperwork, what's your job? Survivor. prepare, present, prevail. Like, that's what's keeping me alive. My healthy eating's keeping me alive. He said there is no pill. In fact, doctors say, and there's some research came out, and I'll share it, saying that if they could bottle exercise into a pill, it would be demanded by patients, given out by cancer specialists, subsidized by the government as the most powerful drug in the world. So all I can do, the only thing I have within my control, is to armor up and work out, armor up for life and work out. But otherwise, his notes were how high risk I am. He understands now, it validates all the problems I've had. He said, you know, he wishes he could put me through another transplant and get rid of this, but my chances would go down. Even when I had the transplant, it was 25% chance of survival. It could be drastically less. And he's not willing to do that, knowing that I have Gabriel and Gabriel needs me. So it really, I just have this inflammatory system. I don't heal well. Anything that comes into my path, you know, I'm a touchy individual, he says, as far as doing things. And this is all based on his speculation of science. Basically says, we can't fix that. We gave you that immune system. It's an autoimmune disease now, and we didn't know about it before. So it has been earth-shattering for me. While I'm thankful that I'm a miracle, I'm thankful I'm alive. He said people who've had these kind of health problems prior, who went through all these torments that you guys have seen me go through, they're not here. That's why I have to keep being the voice, because I have an obligation. I'm like N1 every time they say you're N1 for surviving this. You're N1, so I'm alive. But I want to know. I kept asking, you know, and they're very transparent. How I want, you know, I want to live long enough that my son remembers me. I want to watch him dance at his wedding. It's messed up. But he just said, basically, I'm operating in a 70-year-old's body. So what does that mean? I have 20 more years? I just wish it wasn't so effing black and white. And it's like in this gray, nobody can give me an answer. But it does tell me that I do make memories. I have post-traumatic stress disorder, but I also have post-traumatic growth and things that we all stress about. And one thing I'll tell you that I talked about with my doctor, since I have all this inflammation in my body, the last thing you want to do when people try to stress me out, or there's toxic friendships or relationships, I step away, because stress for me, for you, whether you have this disorder or not, stress, like my doctor oncologist says, and he's world renowned, is a fertilizer for cancer. Stress causes inflammation in the body. Your body bathes itself in cortisol, and boom, the floodgates open for illness. And there you go. It just lays the foundation for cancer. I can't let anybody stress me out. I cried today. I'll have shingles tomorrow just from this. Stress, sleep deprivation, shift work, all of that lays the foundation for cancer. So those are things I have to make sure I don't do. I don't need anything adding to the inflammation that's already in my body from this genetic marker. So I share that with you because nobody can carry the disease for you. Whatever disease, whatever you have. As Steve Jobs said, you have to own it, manage it, carry it yourself. You can't pay someone to will it away. But I just wanted to share with all of you, I've gotten so many sweet texts, and I've just been driving and crying. It's just, what I do. And we have to improve patient outcomes. We have to, now they said they will no longer give a bone marrow transplant, use a donor who's over the age of 40 who has this. But this is how things are evolving. And I hope one day there is a pill or a cure for this chip and this inflammatory disease and disorder that I have, that's a cancer predisposition syndrome. I don't know when the shoe's going to drop. Basically, my doctor said, we don't know when the shoe's going to drop. We just know it's going to drop. How it's going to drop, how bad it's going to drop, if it's going to take your life. We just know that there's a lot of inflammation going on, and I have to manage it. So I can't have anything else affect me. So I love you all very much, but if someone causes stress in my life, just for my own life and for Gabriel to have his mom, I have to just get rid of it, disown it. And I say that and share that with all of you. So I've had so many wonderful people reach out to me and text me. I've had friends who've watched Gabriel. I have to go back in 3 weeks. They're trying to find specialists, and I'll keep you posted. I just couldn't. Gabriel's at home, and I didn't want to have to cry and explain all of this because I've cried for the past 2.5 hours driving home from Hopkins. But I'll be going back in 3 weeks, and I'm, every day I'm going to keep waking up, armoring up, prehabilitating, armoring up for life. And you can do that too for yourself. And I say it because I'm passionate about it, and I hear it time and time again that I'm a miracle standing. And my sister bought me time. I want to buy time for as long as I can. I don't know when the shoe's going to drop, but I don't want it to drop now. I have so much work to do, so many lives to change, people to impact, and memories to make with my husband and son. So thank you for your text. I love you. I'm sorry I'm all over the place. I'm an emotional wreck. I had to pull over because I couldn't take the rain and driving. I couldn't take the stress, and I just need to get myself together before I walk in the house, because I don't want Gabriel to put some makeup on. Well, obviously I don't have it on now, but before I go in, so Gabriel doesn't say, "Mommy, what's the matter?" I just want to hear him say, "Mommy," when I walk in. Again, thank you for all being there for me through this roller coaster ride from hell. And if I could be any help to any of you or your loved ones who are going through a shit show journey like this, I'm here for you, because we all have to pay it forward, because you don't know when my story is going to be your story, and I'll always help. So please reach out to me if I can help you in any way. Love you guys. Have a good night. Bye.